one of the biggest mistakes that I've seen. So we had a client come into our office back in January of 2020. And he came in and said, I want to plan for my retirement. Okay. When are you planning to retire? He tells us December 31st of 2018. So he had been retired for an entire year, all of 2019. He came in with a TSP statement for $1.8 million. We said, oh, that's not entirely accurate because I scraped out some of my earnings to pay off my house last year. I did that shortly after I retired. Okay. So we get into working with him and we start telling him, going through this process, you have all of your money invested in the TSP in aggressive funds. You have CSI funds. You need to readjust some of this because if the market drops, none of those funds in there are actively managed. They're managed by BlackRock, but they're set it and forget it. So what ended up happening was, well, what happened during 2020? We had COVID come in. So he had $1.8 million. He pulled out about $450,000 to pay off his house. So it brought him down to about $1.3 million. And then after he came in and sat down with us, the market dropped out in February and March, and he dropped 50% of his retirement. So he went down to under $700,000. He started with $1.8 million at retirement on December 31st of 2018. March 15 of 2020, he's down to under $700,000. He's down over $1 million from what he started with. And the problem there was, yeah, he's only 14, 15 months into his retirement, but he also had to do his taxes. So that $450,000 went to his taxes, went to his top line as ordinary income. His Social Security was taxed, his pension was taxed, and his wife's salary was taxed at that point. So he had a huge tax bill of over $600,000 that he was not anticipating. So yeah, that hurt. And he was very upset with us and wanted us to tell him how to fix it. Unfortunately, the damage was already done. We could not help him at that point, and he refused to take our advice to begin with. So we wished him well. So in the end, the moral of the story for that particular client is you need to start planning before you actually retire. We would prefer 3-5 years, 10 is more ideal, but at the very least, come and talk to somebody, preferably us, but before you actually hit that retirement, submit those retirement documents for your employer, because there may be some things that you need to readjust and need to understand what's going to happen in your retirement that could have dire consequences on your taxes, how it's going to impact your retirement moving forward, what can happen, what may not happen, how it will impact your way of living. So yes, yeah, it's a big moral there that we learned from that particular client.